everybody!
Hello.
Welcome back.
No.
Welcome on in to the post-Hollow Bonds finale, post-coffee chat. Welcome on in, everybody. I'm vibrating. Yes, I didn't want to do my model today, so I am a vibrating PNG.
I was about to say, you look a little stiff, buddy. You all right?
No, I'm
He
finally.
expended all his DM energy. Now it's just this.
I finished finally, so I am now stepping up on the table, coming from behind it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, sorry. Oh no, I forgot I have Evdo E. Can I get some Evdo E's in chat? I'm literally
it's
Evdo E-ing.
It's funny seeing the intro for the last time. Do you remember when we first played it and everyone thought that Thrask was evil because of the one or two
Yeah.
frames?
Yeah. Clip.
Full disclosure, I was still suspicious even on the final episode. I'm like, when's the turn? When's the
No.
fucking turn?
No, that one frame is him preparing Eldritch Blast.
Ah.
I think that's a good way to put it nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense for it.
I mean, that would have been a wild twist, like that just been going along with you all this time until you're finally at the main boss and then just flip the script.
Well, because like the pieces felt there, like, you know, was like creator of dragons, and then there's the lizard folks that are pretty like dragon adjacent. So I assumed you'd like, turn around and be like, "I never told you something." It's like, oh fuck.
Not even that. Just gets towards the end. It's like, oh, this guy's making a lot of sense.
Just start dropping hints.
It's like there's a reason he kept failing those insight checks.
I don't think this was the day and age for that kind of thing to happen. If you know what I mean.
Oh.
But still, I mean, I thought about like it because people brought it up, and I was like, I wasn't gonna play that, but like, what? I always thought about the possibility, like, what if I did do that? What if? What if?
Well, like you said, it'd be a hell of a twist.
Now I'm gonna have to be really cautious of your next character. God.
The seed has been planted.
Mm-hmm. No, now that I say that, I'm gonna be thinking about all of you all because I feel like many of you would do that.
I mean, to be fair, my guy looks kind of evil, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
my
definitely
guy's
not done
already
yourself any favors with the design for this one.
Yeah.
I mean, he
next guy
looks
is already
pretty cool.
such a dick, though. Like, why would you think he's a traitor? Because that's like, no, that's too on brand.
It's too obvious. You come out as evil for your next character. It's like, oh, really? It's so faux
It's
pas.
like, oh no. Anyway.
Anyway, thank you everyone for coming along. And Chad, of course, thank you for coming along and enjoying the campaign with us. Really appreciate it. So what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to be talking about the campaign, our experience with the last 2 years of it. We're going over a few things. We're going to be going over what you guys enjoyed as well. And I've also put up a few things. We've got a few questions from you guys. We can answer a little bit later into it as well. So, with that in mind, the finale. What do we think?
Well worth the wait.
I mean, I cried for at least like 3 weeks.
It's only been 3 weeks.
I cried 2 weeks before the finale happened, and then an entire week afterwards.
So who knows how time works in the void? It could have been 3 weeks of crying.
That is
Yeah.
very true.
For me, it felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
So, like, real talk, me and Pat definitely got emotional right at the very end.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to hold it in too.
No, I loved every moment of that. It was great. It's funny because there's been quite a few moments. I probably can't label them all, but there's been a lot of moments in this where, because this is quite a normal thing for D&D, where I'll plan something and then the players will sort of hint towards another idea, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's way better. I'm having that. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
So there's been one or two moments of that, but the latest one I can think of, it wasn't an idea you came up with, but it was something that happened in the moment. Was when you summoned the dragon in the final realm.
Uh-huh.
And because then it just in my mind, just like, oh my god, Didn't.
Ew.
You did
The
it.
audacity.
The audacity. To summon a dragon in the realm of the god who made them.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Well, neither did I.
No. So that was a good twist to see that happen. And then by the time we went full god mode and was doing our final attacks, I'm like, okay, he's not using these dragons against me anymore.
It was like the final insult to him. Too.
Uh-huh. Man, I was in the moment listening to everyone describe these big final attacks, and I'm sitting here with my head starting to hurt. Like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna follow all this up?
What was great though is all the final attacks felt like absolutely like what those characters would do.
On brand, yeah.
Yeah, mine was literally a callback to the test that
Yeah, I
Ica
remember
had.
that one.
Yeah, but there was this
Mhm.
time it was Ica doing it in his own with his own hands. So
Yes.
Mhm.
Very much
Yeah.
appreciated that. I did notice that. Yeah, those tests were to kind of push you guys to, I guess, kind of figure out exactly what to do with the characters.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I felt so bad with my last attack because I was so out of it and tired at that point where I was just like, I did a star thing. Do that again. Yeah, there we go. That'll do shit.
But that's always been Azzy's things, right? The simple but most effective strategy was just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a
Mhm.
fucking star on him.
And even at the end, still never used that elf sword.
Oh my
No,
god.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, if I'm honest, that
Doesn't know
was
how to
a.
use it.
Yeah, to be honest, I probably should have given you guys those all at the same time somehow. That was
Yeah,
probably
it's
that was a
okay.
mistake by me, to be honest. But
Nah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
can't say
completely
anything. I
forgot
never used
about
the
it.
deck of illusions you gave me a long time ago.
yeah, I think for the first time, it was just I was just kind of wanted to throw the rules out of the well, where we are, the cart. Just I don't know. No one ever gets. Every campaign, like there's so many campaigns people get to play, and they never get to use the cool stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's
wanted at
fair,
least one with
though.
that.
By the time I guess you would have wanted to use something like that, you had spells for it because we
Yeah.
leveled up like
That's
heavily.
very
True.
true.
Yeah, so like with the next campaign, obviously we're gonna be like little plebs, so we've only got like a really small pool to work with. It'll be like find a scroll. Holy shit, this is the best thing I own. I'm gonna like protect this with my life until it's
Mhm.
required.
Yeah, I was planning to. I've got a few ideas for the next one. I was just telling these guys, but one of the ways I was thinking about starting it off was like with the words, an arcane magical world filled with giants, wonder, and the impossible, and you are none of these.
Oh,
It's great juxtaposition though. I like it. It's
Mm.
like, all right,
Mhm.
in the
From the
first
highest
campaign,
highs to the
you
lowest
were
lows.
gods. In this one,
I'm sorry, who are you? Yeah, no, I don't know. I like the idea of I liked the idea of being able to, because especially since I was brand new to the DMing as well. Like this was only the second campaign I'd ever DM'd, I think.
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure that I got your guys' input on how this world was going to be formed as well. Because obviously, writing with just my head is not going to be as good with writing with everyone's. I could getting mugged. That's amazing.
that killed me a little bit. I was like,
No,
that's pretty
well
clever.
done. God damn it.
pretty good.
Well, see, there we go. That's what I mean. Like, taking other people's suggestions for stuff, it adds so much more.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like I didn't come up with 90% of what I wanted to do with Azalea until we got to the halfway point.
Yeah.
So it was the end of season 1, and then the event that happened. It was Thrask's decision that made me go, all right, you know what? I know exactly what I want for a cool story beat, and I ran with it.
Hmm. Interesting.
That was it. Yeah, because my one thing that I wanted, and I asked Andy specifically for it. I'm like, okay, can Azalea go last, and can the fight that they have be specifically against Vida, so that Thrask can get his revenge? And I was just like, that's what I want. So I planned everything
Wow.
around that one bit.
So yeah, I was wondering what you meant by that, and yeah, that definitely it definitely shaped up that way.
Yep.
I mean, I'm right there with Amy. I feel like if anything, like what this campaign is definitely helping improve on is writing in general, because like the first few like sessions with Maddie kind of was just stories writing, was flying at the skin of its teeth. Like just because an idea is cool doesn't mean it actually makes sense. So like when we started to get to the trials and everything and like figure out what exactly do I want to do with him and like where's his progression gonna be, like it was nice. It's nice to
Yeah.
finally like take a character and
it-
just make them better.
And you definitely had like your moment in the very end, facing Vita in the jail cell. Like it all culminated into that.
Oh, you mean
Oh, yeah.
You were
Vasix?
able to let go of your anger and
Yeah,
let him go. It was really nice to see that.
because like
Yeah, it was really good.
there was that clash between me. It's like me personally, I wouldn't let his ass go, but I'm not Maddie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's the important distinction as well, is to be able to separate yourself from the characters.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, otherwise we couldn't write bad guys.
Yeah.
Unless they're
No.
actually secretly evil, in which case the protagonists are the ones that we're faking.
That's right, Keston.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you looking in the mirror there? I don't know what's happening.
We know you commit arson. We know you do.
We'd
Essie, what
established I was doing reverse arson, remember?
Essie, what you're experiencing right now is something called projection. I'm starting to think that you're the arsonist.
You were the one who said that he was doing, what was it, anti-firefighting? That was what you said?
Maybe I was just setting you up.
So then you're the evil. Are we all evil? I mean, we are on Evildoerz channel.
And the lesson is complete.
No!
I've taught you all well. Just fades out of existence.
And so I
Oh,
go.
Can I just say, I loved Thrask's voice change when he was playing the. what was
Oh
it?
yeah,
I
the,
forgot
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
the KFC guy.
Yeah.
Playing like the southern lawyer that was talking with Sword.
Oh, it was so good.
I
That
don't
was
know.
It was
so
great.
I was trying to think of like, if I'm gonna go in there, Thrask can't talk like the way he typically does because he's a little bit quiet and over talkative and things like that. So I was like, what can I do? Because he may be charismatic, as a charisma based caster, but he is not an actor. So what do I do? So I was just like, give me a turtleneck and some glasses and I'll put a voice on and we'll see what happens.
And wait,
Yeah.
that's how my bad guy dresses. Are you sure you're not like secretly evil?
But I mean, once I finally started doing that, like I actually slipped into it a little bit easier than I thought I would.
Yeah.
What's great though is like I used to always associate that like accent and like sort of mannerisms with very like polite, calm gentlemen, and then Django happened, and Calvin Candy like took that accent and made it like put it on the most evil character in existence. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this works super well for a criminal guy now.
Oh, yeah.
I love this.
Have you seen Jack Reacher?
No.
The
Oh,
the Amazon one.
I was about to say the movie or the
Yeah, the
series?
series. Yeah, there's a guy in that who has that voice, and usually they tend to work best as kind of a single-minded ideaed oh, this is the way it's gonna work, that sort of thing. You don't work that way in my town, that sort of thing.
I see.
Who is it that played that in Reacher? Because I remember watching that show. My dad really liked it because Alan Ritchson was playing Reacher, and that guy is like a monster of a man. So he was able to, seeing him beat up everybody and all the action scenes were really cool.
Oh yeah, and
And-
just pulled up a poster for Jack Reacher and I'm like, hello. Hello.
Yeah, I sent him to Amy and was just like, this is just Gabrav if you wanted an actor.
Oh yeah,
I could see it.
it's funny. I think I was half asleep when he sent that too, and then I just kept mentioning Gabriel, and Andy was just so confused. And then I was just like, he mentioned it later. I'm like, oh wait, what? No, you said like this one. He's like, no, I didn't. Look at the message. I'm like, oh shit.
What's really funny though is like looking at the images. They also have the movie poster with Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher. I'm like, these are not the same character.
Absolutely not.
No, not at all. All right.
Ah.
No, we still don't know what happened to Madame Bass. Oh.
Yeah,
So
Andy.
realistically, so essentially, she kind of got trapped in a a non-winning situation where. So essentially, originally the concept would be that she essentially was almost treasonous, essentially letting in these people so easily into the defended castle, and also having done that multiple times with multiple lovers, obviously. So
Oh no.
yeah, but considering how that situation ended and how essentially he was forced to very well speeched by Essie as well, to kind of reevaluate how he was as a leader, and he's not going to achieve that by punishing the people around him because of his own negligence. So realistically, she probably won't have served any kind of serious punishment, because realistically it's his negligence that would have caused all this in the first place.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume fired though.
I mean, you probably wouldn't be allowed into a situation where she could be trusted like that much. So
She'd be
probably
demoted, I imagine, like bare minimum.
Yeah,
that makes more
probably
sense, yeah.
would be put out. I would imagine maybe put out somewhere outside of the castle. So still in a decent position but nowhere that she can threaten security.
Well, like being a god could change that. Maybe offer her something else.
Well, that's the thing as well. That's because that's something I want to get from you guys eventually before I finish writing the next campaign. Is what exactly you plan to do with your gods specifically? Because do you are they the kind of people who will continue to walk the earth, or will they become part of the cosmos? Will they what will they do, that sort of thing? So because it'll affect a lot.
Mm-hmm. I actually wrote all that down.
You did. I need to get it some time to read properly.
Yeah.
Mad
already
Bass.
came up with mine
I
too.
Mad Bass. I love it.
That's great. You guys are killing
she opens
it.
up a new set of stores called Mad Bass Pro Shops.
Mad
Oh my
Bass.
God. And that could tie into my second character. Let's go. No, I'm kidding.
Amazing.
It's true, Doc. You did get to see Babuga.
Mm-hmm.
You did, yes.
That was 2 years worth the wait.
and then you'll have to wait a long time to find out through legend if the god of the lizard folk managed to catch a date with the hottest lizard around.
Not even marriage, just date.
Just
Please
date.
get a date.
And then she is regarded as like a goddess of beauty.
So the whole point with her was I wanted to test myself writing a character that is, for all intents and purposes, realistically, technically trans. So I really wanted to try to do that without just doing the, emote point. They're a trans character. You should like me because I wrote them. 'Cause I always hate it when they do that. So, but the concept is obviously with the original gods having kind of forced their opinions on how everything should be done, and her going pretty much against the grain of that entirely because she disagrees with it. So she wanted to be able to entertain and dance for and sing for all, not just the people of her race and what they consider beautiful. So she tries to take a part of everything that she enjoyed and put it together.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yay.
She's a baddie.
Oh fuck yeah. But it's why, because I think I mentioned it to you guys, it's why she kind of, so I'm playing with my model and yeah, it's why she kind of spoke through you guys rather than at you, because she's talking to you guys, not the gods within you.
Mhm.
I see.
Yeah, because they're dumb. In her eyes, not like everywhere else is fine.
Mhm.
Well, that's the thing. That's the whole point. Like, not that's the point of not even the gods were perfect. They began with a blank slate and were dealing with inner conflicts from multiple areas. So that's the whole point, and that's why you guys were a fresh new thing coming from a mortal experience, something that they could never achieve.
True.
Hmm.
I love the little extra things you did. They're so good, Amy. I love them.
Oh yeah, I wanna make like
Let me put
better
on my
ones.
angry eyebrows.
Just wanted to see how it looked for the first time.
Feels weird. It's like, wait, Thraskus doesn't have eyebrows. Hold on.
Wait, could I actually like put it like over the eyes like that and just make them like actual eyes, like almost anime style?
Oh my
God.
god.
Oh wait. Oh, and I forgot to introduce Thrask's
Wait,
father.
I got an idea. Let me just see if I can. Oh damn!
Well, howdy,
Let's
son.
see.
There we go. Tiny
Sorry, it just
glasses
became
in the
goofy for a
middle.
second there for some reason.
Nice. Perfect. Feel like that animation error though, where the glasses are like, kind of like get
Like
obscured
over
by
top
the
them, yeah.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I became a god in D&D, I'd open a bakery. Of course you would. Of course you would.
And I would rob it. I've done it once.
Oh my god, that campaign.
That was amazing.
Amy
That's
was still quite
what was
new
it?
to the whole campaign, to the whole D&D thing, and like, your decisions were like odd.
Very, very odd. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what
we
was
just
it? We
like-
were supposed to. There
Go
was two instances I remembered. One, I decided to casually rob a bakery. So like I just decided to lockpick the first door that I came across, which was a bakery, and I stole all of their bread. It went stale, and then I just threw it all like I'd stolen our party member's bag of holding, put it all in it, and then when I got back to like the inn we were in, I just let it all out in their room and then just went to bed. So that was the first one I did. And then the second, we were supposed to just walk into a like manor house. I snuck in for some reason after setting a barn on fire and then just walked around the ceiling and pinched stuff.
Yeah, that was...
I really
You're very
liked the spider
strange.
walking ability. It was great. I could just
Oh.
walk up walls and across the ceiling.
Yes, if you guys want to, we already have some in there, but if you guys want to put any questions into the Discord, you can go with that and it'll link you directly to the forum post, I think.
Yeah.
And you can put your questions in there. I'll be going through those in a minute.
Huzzah.
Yeah, I just didn't want some of these to get lost. I was like, guys, you can put
No,
them in the
good point.
Discord. We'll be able to see them then.
Yes, no, definitely a very good idea. I guess before we go to the chat's questions, did you guys have any questions, actually? Of things maybe that I missed, hadn't been answered, or things that you think would like to know, maybe that you think that you would like to know that like maybe didn't get mentioned or anything like that?
Yes. Okay. So, it was very clear when, like, at the very end, all the limbs were for the god of balance.
Hmm.
Was there any foreshadowing that we missed when we met the guy who gave us the first body part?
So, if I'm totally honest, and I'll be completely transparent with you guys, when you first met him, he was not the god of balance. When you first met him, he was a side quest that I wanted to include at the end, but I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do with it. And it wasn't until closer we got to the end where I realized I could introduce it in that sense. But the only reason I did introduce it is because it did make some form of sense.
Gotcha.
Oh,
So
I got one. So there was when we were in Thrask's town, there was one of the creatures underneath something. I think Thrask just outright killed it. But I know you had like another thing for that.
when
mean the worm, right?
Yeah, the worm. I think it was like a worm thing.
Oh, it was
So-
wasn't it? I think it was an injured hollow hound, I think it was. That was stuck under
Something
like,
like that,
th-
yeah.
yeah, that's what it was.
yeah, it was stuck under a rock or something like that.
Uh-huh. Thrask was just pissed at seeing how his town had been destroyed and then one of these creatures here, so it just felt right in the moment to just outright kill it.
No, I totally get it. And character-wise, it does make sense. To be honest, that was a lesson for me as well, because I did not see that coming at all. Why did I put it there for? I think I put it there as a form of, I think it was a mix of a test and a mix of like a way to cause alarm. I think it was.
I remember what it was.
Oh, you remember what it
if
was? What was it?
We could communicate with that one.
That's what it was. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, we would have been able to communicate with it.
Yes,
Dang.
that's what it. Thank you. Yeah, that was exactly what it was. Oh, also thank you, Busy Bee, for the 66 months. That's fucking crazy. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that was it. It was. I had some concepts for, that I wanted to get past you guys to explain, kind of like the hollow and the end. That was it. Yeah. Because so at this point, the story of the world of like Genesis, Tarate, and the Hollow being the three major energies of that created life itself hadn't really been explained. And I had tried the last couple of episodes before that to try to figure out a time to do it. One actually I had written down, which was it was when you were in Hapori, was a show that was being put on by the children of the city. That was basically going over and explaining like, the history of the world and stuff like that. But I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think you guys like left really quickly. So I was like, oh, okay. So okay, guess I won't do that. I was like, okay, right, well, we're on the way to here, so kitty, so we'll try and do something with that. And that's why the injured hound was there, was you were going to be able to communicate with it. And then you fucking like killed it.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
And Azalea was like knocked out at that point, so I couldn't even like stop it with like any means whatsoever. I'm just like, nah, Azalea's not here. I'm not helping, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch it happen and then go, oh, rip.
I think I
got
ended
sick
up
that day too.
I think I ended up including it with the collector. I think is where I ended up giving it to you guys.
Right.
Gotcha.
Collector was great. I liked the collector a lot.
One of my favorite characters in the game.
Yay.
Without question.
I did enjoy him.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment in the campaign that like one of us did or said something that left you unsure of what to do next or speechless and made you kind of like completely rewrite the script on the fly? Like, was there ever just like a really big defining moment of that where you're like, fuck, okay, yeah, but fuck.
I think I know Maddie's in particular.
Yeah, I was curious, like if there was one that really stood out to you, Andy.
Let me think about that. I think I'll have to think about that, because there's a few moments which were like, there's definitely a few moments that were like I wasn't expecting, but I could very easily just, oh, okay, I'll just remix this, it's fine. I mean, the thing is, we all had very good communication with how we were doing things, so yeah. Let me. I'm going down the list of like the episode titles to see if there was any moment that really confused me or really like gave me a struggle.
Or Or even just like surprised you, like even if it was just like, whoa, okay, well that's gonna change the entire direction of the sequence. Like anything that like really stood out.
Okay, so I think, funnily enough, I think when you guys entered Brizo, and we kind of started Ica's area, I had a little bit more of kind of like, because I wanted to do, I really wanted to do kind of like the heist idea, but I really had no idea how exactly to do that. And I think, because yeah, to be honest, the heist I think was probably a big one, was because I had these previous, like, I'd done a bunch of studies on how other DMs had done them, and I found a few ways on, like, a few different ways of doing roles and stuff like that, which gave more credence to a kind of like a speedy, more impactful experience. So, for example, I think one of the examples they gave was if you were running across a roof and you were chasing them, then you would each be rolling as you go, and as if one's rolled higher, then he gets ahead, you know, and if one of you rolls lower out of the 3 rolls or something like that, then it's like, oh, you get ahead and then you slip on this, but you rolled again really well, so you're able to catch your footing, you know, that sort of thing. And the way it all worked out, none of that was able to be used. No one, and I still love how it turned out. But that was definitely, I think, one of the situations where I had a solid plan of like how to interact with you guys, and then that completely went out the window.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do remember a funny instance of that, because obviously I've watched you like work your ass off on like some of this stuff. I wouldn't see everything, but like I'd just be seeing him like work for ages on something, and then we like bypassed it, I think, during that, like before when we were on our way to Regla, and we were supposed to go through like the whole street, I think it was, and then door.
So because I was doing the subathon, I was so fucking brain dead and tired. I had created the entirety of Hapori and the situation of how you guys were going to get there. And it was actually supposed to be the old house from the general store where you had, screwed that guy over and got him imprisoned, as kind of like a nice callback to like, oh, he was one of the Underdiers, so of course it makes sense you'd go under there to get there. So the idea was that Brew would take you in. There would be that horrific creature in the front of it that the human that looked like a human, but the idea was I was supposed to have that look so unappetizing to go to that you'd be like, no, there's no possible way, let's try and find somewhere else. But instead you were just intelligent, and you know
and I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming.
No, you just, well,
Shit,
like I said,
smart.
I was so brain dead at that point. No, it wasn't a mimic. It it's like an Orblog or something like that.
Like Elder Oobleck or something like that.
Yeah, Elder Oobleck.
You
Yeah.
showed us like the actual art for it. And I was like,
Yes, an Elder Oobleck. Yeah, and
Just
but yeah, you distracted him away, and then it was like I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'll take a screen. Oh my god, you know, I'll show you guys actually, because I can change the background for it still. I'll get the page up and show you guys just how many maps I'd made for that specifically, because the idea was that you were supposed to like, or well, at least I expected anyway, was for you to run through and use it as an actual like stealth situation. That's why I made it you couldn't cast anything other than a cantrip. But you guys were really smart with it and used them really well. But the idea was that you'd be jumping in and out of like buildings and hiding your way, trying to figure out like which window to go through, and you know, all that sort of stuff.
We don't do stealth well.
no.
We don't.
I mean,
But that
this coming
final
from the
portal
rogue.
map too.
I know, like, no, like, Ika's great at it, but the thing is, like, the execution is just like, throw a rock. Yes, we'll throw a rock.
Well, it literally was a case of like, it was literally a meme of what's going to win? 100 hours of planning or like a silly spell? Silly spell wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of felt like
Unfor-
what happened on the last episode with that church with the monsters in front of the portal. It's like, we
Yeah,
can
that was-
fight
Oh
through
my
all
God,
these, or
yes.
just bring the roof down, crush them all, and then we
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The roof is already falling apart.
I had a theory after that happened because when like Riegler had come in, I was like, oh, we were supposed to fight these guys and then they were gonna help us, weren't they?
So no, actually, they weren't.
Really?
They weren't there to help you. They were just there as like they were going to guard the portal essentially.
Yeah, so there's a whole scene though.
Well, yeah, the idea. Well, actually, no, I can't explain that. But so okay. Before I show you the maps, to explain that, the whole point of what that one was, well, not the whole point, but the idea was to weaken you guys down so that you didn't have all of your spells, and it was going to be a bit harder to deal with. That area.
We just broke the roof and jumped in.
Yeah.
So I'll show you for the first time I'll show you the DM's view rather than what you guys, because I have two different windows open. One with a character, one with a. That's why I have two accounts. One that's not a DM, one that is, so that the chat won't see what's going on. Let me see if I can get the right page.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. When I get like
No,
tired,
it's
I get
fun. I
weirdly
like that.
creative, and then I read spells and it just goes nuts. Like what happened with the Leviathan.
Well, it's funny because my partner was watching us too, because it was like, well, it's like the last two campaign sessions, so might as well watch. So when it got to the sequence of throwing the rock, she immediately messaged me saying, "Why don't you guys just throw a rock?" I was like,
Mhm.
oh no, it's all connecting.
Oh, you've made
Oh,
the,
no, I didn't
the
mean to move.
background go. Oh, you could have just
There you
left
go.
it there and stay there.
No, because they're like it jiggles up about. Oh no, I guess so. Actually, yeah, never mind. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to do the differently.
Yay, we're driving.
Yay!
Let us go on a journey.
Eaten by Parahai.
I know.
Driving to our next adventure.
Okay, no, I am gonna have to change. Hold on.
Ah,
Oh,
we solved nothing. It's still purple.
shit!
You did nothing.
The world's just like this now.
Yeah, you know what? Azalea's in charge of trees and shit. She's just decided she likes purple.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted a little bit more for the next one. I'm gonna have a lot more character bibles for how to do the voices and properly as well, rather than just I'll turn myself off just so I'm not in the way for a sec. So yeah, this is the DM's view. So I have a basically a GM's view, so I could put stuff on a GM's layer that only I can see. So the idea is that you would, because I even had you guys down here, that you would essentially enter on in. All of this would be difficult terrain. This purple stuff. Oh, actually, hold on, you can't see mine.
Which wouldn't affect Thrask at all.
No, but it would. It's a different. It's a little bit of a difference. It's
Yeah.
something that will make it a bit more difficult. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah. So this is all difficult terrain, and the creatures that were in here, 4 of them were, because I matched this to your CR ratings, and so these would be able to just float over it, so they wouldn't be caught in any of that. And then the hounds would be able to assist and get to you quickly. And essentially, I mean, you can see this thing here. The idea was that you would approach here, these would be up to the ceiling, so you would have to figure out a way to get past this. And when you did, coming through the portal would have been the creature that was spawning these vines this whole time.
Oh.
Wow. And we just crushed it and then just jumped in, completely avoiding
Yeah.
all of that.
That's
That's
really
crazy.
Yeah, so this is a shambling mound.
Whoa!
Oh.
Shambling mound.
Literally, we took like the speed run strat. Like,
Yeah, you
fuck it, we'll just clip through
literally
the
did.
Ceiling.
We're gremlins, man. Like that's where because me and Amy were like, get on the roof, get on the roof, get on the roof.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if we hadn't done that, the session would have probably been more like 6 or 7 hours, I guess. Because we
Yeah,
just
that is
spent way
true.
more time doing all the stuff.
Yeah, I think we as players were like, we should probably try to get to the main room. So
Yeah, you
it
guys
doesn't
did
take
really well
forever.
with that, to be honest. So, and it was probably more necessary. I guess I can show you more maps now, can't I? I guess there's no reason not to. Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's the folder that had all of the buildings that you guys could have gone into.
Oh wow!
Every single one of them.
Oh,
There's a part of me that feels bad.
Yeah, well, no, it's okay. Like, but no, I'd set up like so you guys could open the windows and stuff like that. But you would have to be careful because obviously there'd be creatures here. So if you opened the window, then and a creature was there, they'd see you directly. Closed windows and stuff like that, and doors that you'd have to be careful with. But the apothecaries as well that you could have entered into. So yeah, the idea was that you were, like I said, that you'd be able to jump into all of these and kind of figure, trying to get to the one location, which
Yeah. What's going on over there? What's that body?
yeah. Well, good thing to save for next campaign.
yeah.
Uh,
So you guys, so
Fascinating.
I think I flipped the map for this one. Yeah, I think I did. But yeah. The idea is that the general store was like here, and you guys started like over here, or something like that. Oh no, it was down here. It was over here. And then this was the house that you guys came into. And this was the one that was supposed to be like a quick entrance because that makes sense as to why, Brew would come this way to come and get you. But the idea was that you'd come here and see all these things and be like, no, okay, let's go a different way. And then you'd have to come all the way around.
Yep. That didn't happen.
All these
Yep.
cool maps turn into robots. So fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually quite proud of this one. So I use a website called Incarnate, which is basically a map maker, and people put up maps that you can just use. But for this one, this was actually a perfectly functioning city, but I overlaid it with basically like a plant life texture. And I erased it all where the buildings were, so it just looks like it's in the destroyed areas.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nah, if you're a DM, Incarnate is incredible. I would 100% use it.
Oh.
But yeah, so this, and then the idea was for you guys at this point was because you started up here, there was an ambush here for you, which you did do. But funny story about that, I lost and couldn't find for the life of me because I was coming out because I was tired. The character sheet for them.
Oh no!
So that's why they only attacked with like slashes.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fair.
wow.
And then you were supposed to the idea is that you came down here, there would be a militia of the people fighting another creature, so you'd have to decide whether you wanted to stop and help or not. Then you'd come round. Riegler and Elria would be here with this blocked off, so you'd have to keep going around again. And then there would have been another attack here before you'd enter it on in. And that's when you would enter on in here. But instead, you guys came here, jumped up, and then just doused the building.
Yeah.
And we're proud of it.
Yeah,
That was
I-
awesome.
I love that. I love that fact. That's great though. They literally speed run it. It was incredible. Like it was awesome. I loved it. But yeah, like do I have any more maps and stuff?
We say speedrun, but we've been fighting this campaign for 2 years. So.
Right.
Well, you sped run
Yeah.
this point anyway, at least. What's on the tokens one? Oh yeah, so this is where I kept one of the hounds, and then that thing you fought,
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
and then the
Like that
worm
guy.
from
Mighty
Kitty Kitty.
dragon. That actually leads me to a question I had. Back when we went to that town called Hiona, where the big blizzard was happening, where we were going up to the god's temple,
Yes.
was there an encounter that was meant to happen with the cryo phoenix that was up there, where we
Yes.
kept avoiding its nest
Yes.
and the eggs.
Yes. I had a setup for the cryo phoenix to cause you, because at that point you guys had. That was a really interesting one, actually. I really enjoyed doing that one because it was my first time playing with the idea of exhaustion and actual hazardous survival. And the cryo phoenix was kind of like a final little just like a fleshed out little bit of combat to just like finish it off a little bit. And I was actually going to have Elria turn up there instead. But because you guys bypassed it, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll put her somewhere else then instead. Yeah, so that turned out, I mean, it all turned out pretty good at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish I could find, like, deleted ones, but I had to delete them every now and again, else this would be packed. I won't do that next time. I'll keep them next time. I'll just put them in a folder.
So, holy Moses, the questions have stacked in the
Good.
folder.
Oh,
I don't know why you're over here.
Yeah,
we'll never know.
just vibing.
Yeah, no, this was another one from Incarnate, which because you can edit them as well. So this was just it didn't you can add in your own like it's got like stamps for trees and stuff like that you can add. But yeah, so this was just an island of this world. So for the next campaign, I'm going to be having you be able to take boat charters to places, and you're going to be able to go like wherever you want, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just stuck to one place.
Uh-huh.
But I'm looking at including as to why this place, why this island was so important, why everything happened here, why did the god's footsteps first step here, stuff like that. Yeah, I want to try and explain a lot more with the next one.
Someone brought up a question. I had seen it during the finale episode there, and it may be in these questions too, but I figured bring it up now. Did we ever actually hear like that music, our theme music that was supposed to be made for us?
Okay, so I have gone over this a few times. So basically, when I first mentioned that, the guy I was talking to, I mentioned his name. He's really fucking awesome. He's called Jay the Bard, and he did a bunch of stuff at like BlizzCon and stuff like that. He was a genuine like actual bard. So I was in talks with him, ready to get some stuff done, but unfortunately, the time it came to do it, he had a lot of health issues that happened, and a lot of just very bad things happening in his life. So I basically just said, dude, don't worry about it, don't stress about it, don't worry. And I didn't want to put that on him. So I basically had to cut that situation off. Which is why instead I wanted to get the cover done for the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
As like a different thing for it. Yeah, for Babooga instead.
Yeah.
So it's something I would like to do, but finding people who can do bardic stuff is very hard. I found maybe 3 people, and like the only one I got an answer from was Jay.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Also, Kia did a great damn job with the cover.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like they both did. Like,
Yeah.
it was really like cool hearing the damn note he kept near the end. Just
Yeah.
never stopped.
Oh, so something funny though. When we came into the final location, and you guys I think Keston, I think you mentioned it's like, oh, we've got new tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And I shat myself because at the top in my GM layer, I had the 3 tokens of you guys as the gods.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, oh,
Whoopsies.
what? Oh, shit. So, actually, I could probably show you guys the notes that I had for the final, or at least go over them a little bit, before we go. We can move on to the questions after this. Oh, no, that's the second campaign. Do not want to show those.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what our nicknames were for each of us again, because I was Veilbreaker, Azalea was Earth Mother. I'm trying to remember Ika's. And
Ika's was the
Maddie's again.
Boundless.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
Ika the Boundless and
Maddie's was Songbreaker.
Songbreak. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'd used Breaker twice. Again, I was tired.
It's all good. It works.
Yeah, no, it does
Quite
work
cool.
exactly. So, yeah, no, I worked hard on trying to give that final push, the feeling you guys deserved.
You did great on it.
Shared it. Yeah, I had. Can I? I think I can. Window capture. And
I
notepad?
mean, you could show us. No, we're not gonna like spoil things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No
it's
spoilers.
not a spoiler because you mean that, right?
The new one, yeah.
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 GT chat. Yeah, I remember I showed what my guy will look like on my stream because I was editing him, and then the response I got from somebody was spoilers. Oh my god, yay!
Yeah, this was the notepad for the gods, for when you first entered into the Hollow Gods area, and then the rest of it was, the gods speaking to you, and then each of the speeches for each of your characters as you finally got your thing. But that's about 10,000 words alone.
Oh, actually, I just realized I don't know if it was intentional, but I think the order that you did the last things in is the order we joined the campaign.
Oh.
Because you
I
asked, because you asked Ika. Well, sorry, you asked Essie and Pat first, and then unfortunately the other two people couldn't continue. So I was asked afterwards, and then we brought Keston on, and that's the order you've put them in.
Yeah, that kind of did work
convenient.
out.
God, I couldn't imagine. Like, no, like shade towards anybody because they were lovely, but like, I couldn't imagine this campaign being the same with a different group.
Oh,
like,
no,
it was
I
just like
completely
me and Pat
agree.
and-
Totally agree.
No, I completely
Wow,
agree.
like-
I think I think the only reason I hadn't asked Keston, because I think it was when you were first starting to get into the D&D sort of sphere.
Right. Yeah. it
yeah,
was
so I
our
didn't know
late
if
friend
you-
Bemmy that had first brought me in.
Yes.
And I was still learning the ropes, but I was really into it, and I was in the middle of another campaign at the time. But
Yeah,
then,
so
they-
that was it. Yeah, you're in another campaign, so
yeah, we were doing a Breath of the Wild Zelda campaign, and
Oh yeah.
due
Yeah.
to their unfortunate passing, that stopped out of nowhere, and kind of took a break for a little bit. But then Andy reached out and asked if I'd be interested in doing this, and I thought it'd be a good chance to, put myself back out there. So
No,
it turned out to
it-
be a really great experience.
yeah, it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been the same without all of you, like at all. So I'm very happy you all ended up here. Ugh.
Yay.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go to the questions. I think, shall we? Oh, hydrate. Yes, I will.
Yay.
Hydrate, everybody. All of
Doing it.
you.
Do
Anti-arson.
Everybody, hydrate.
Anti-arson.
Everybody anti-arson.
Anti-arson.
Oh god. All right. Let's see.
Celebration hydration.
All right, by Seren Wolf. My question is for all the Holobon's crew. If there was one thing you could change about your character, what would it be and why?
Oh.
Who wants to start?
question.
Yeah, I know. A very open-ended one for you guys.
Yeah.
Take your time.
For me, I think Thrask himself as the character worked pretty well. I think it was just more on the ability side, something I saw that I needed more. When I was picking out his abilities starting off as a warlock, warlocks have very few spells. They rely a lot more on their extra abilities that kick in apart from like what their spells can do. I picked two that was like Repelling Blast, which turned out really well in the end. But the
Yes.
other one was Book of Ancient Secrets, which I only used once throughout the whole campaign, which is basically you could take ritual spells that you find and copy them into the book. And that did help for the heist, but I felt like I could have gotten away with that if I just had the scrolls for, silence and such. So I think I probably would have switched that out and went with an ability called Devil Sight, which would have given me dark vision. And it would have let me,
Oh, yeah.
it lets you see through magical and non-magical darkness. And that would have been super helpful for me. But yeah, that's the one that first comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I tried to, even though, because there is something that I've seen a few DMs do, which I don't agree with, is if your players say, for example, like one of you can see through magical darkness, it's like, oh well, I'll just never use darkness then. I hate that. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'll use it and you can utilize it. That's the point. And then if the enemy is still alive, they just won't use it again because now they know.
Right. Yeah, eventually I found my way around that whenever I was in darkness. I could use Dispel Magic and get rid of it.
Definitely. Same with Counterspell. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if I was ever going to use that in this whole game, and then that fight with Vita came up, and I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we ball.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. Maybe if like I had studied D&D Beyond more and what fighters can do, because the initial plan with Maddie was Bard wasn't even a thing I was thinking about with him starting out. What I originally wanted to do, I couldn't because I was trying to find it and I realized I missed it by just not paying attention. Maddie's original plan was supposed to be Eldritch Knight. What I didn't know is that it was literally part of the level 3 archetype thing. Like, this moment I picked Samurai, I was like, I just locked myself out of Eldritch Knight.
I was wondering why it's like, Samurai, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why you, I mean, at the end of the day, you do what you want. It's like, I was like, why?
Yeah, so it's like, because I wanted Maddie's original story was to get over his fear of fire, because it's what killed his brothers. You realize, like, and Eldritch Knight gets, like, a whole fucking pool of that stuff. So, like, utilize it, and then, like, realize I locked myself out of that. It's like, well, I need to find a way to rope back into magic. So Bard rolled in, but Bards don't really get fire spells.
Lol.
So it's like, all right, you just fuck it, we ball. We just use what we get, man.
I mean, you got lightning spells, which is just an evolved form of fire if you think about it.
It can cause fire.
True. It can
It's
cause
intense fire.
Yeah,
very
there's
intense fire.
So
Sky fire.
There's one thing that I would probably mention, and like, it is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with it, and it's funny at this point. But I was laughing so hard, and I was so confused on that one episode when you told me you had a child, and it's like, wait, what?
Yes.
I'd not heard a single thing about this. As the DM.
I realized I wrote it into my character sheet, but I never related to you.
That was so hilarious, because I was just like, because obviously you were talking, I think I was typing something up for what was happening, and it's just like, oh yeah, and my son that I has what? And obviously, because as a DM, I need to know everything about you.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It was just hilarious. Anyway, Amy and Essie.
I think mine would be that because this character was very much like I wrote a paragraph, and that was Aika's character. That was literally it. Like, I didn't write lore. Because I wasn't really sure, like, how serious the campaign was going to be. You know, I didn't know, like, party members, like, I didn't want to put a bunch of effort into something if I didn't know where it was going. So one thing I think I probably would have changed that I would like to change in the next campaign is, like, more story about my character's, like, background. Like, I feel like Aika didn't have enough context for his parents especially his mom, because his mom like literally is the reason why we became gods. Like
Mhm.
legit. But there
Mhm.
was just no personality explained. Like I didn't go into detail about anything when it came to her. I couldn't even tell you what she looked like, like I didn't put any effort there. So I think that's probably what I would have changed, was just more realistic storytelling, I think.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think,
fair enough.
yeah, funnily enough, because like everything I wanted to change about Azalea, I just actively did during the second half of the campaign. I'm like, Azalea's dumb, and Azalea is terrible at like getting anything finished. So I'm like, okay, well, those are the two things I'd like to fix. So I just made her do a bunch of stuff in the background so she grew as a
Mhm.
character. But goddamn, I really wish I'd learned like how to make bonus actions make sense.
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah.
just sat there like I do one thing, I'm like,
Well, I'm
what
done.
else can I do? Rage. Why would I do rage after I attacked? That makes no sense.
Yeah, so for the next campaign, we've created an actual Discord server for everyone, and it's far more equipped. So we'll have the option. We have rooms that specifically only I and each character can see. There's rooms for background roleplay when somebody else is in the middle of doing something, and offline as well. We're going to be having different house rules to help officiate like combat better and stuff like that. So it should be able to be a lot smoother this next time around.
Hmm.
All right. Okay. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, one of my favorite things that I still love that chat did was when I was like trying to do Azalea's like little background storyline, and everyone was just like, man, Azalea's just so angry. I'm like, how is she angry at all? She's never been angry ever.
Yeah.
All right. So by Yumiko Wolf. For the players, how did you all come up with your characters? And for the DM, how did you form the story and the map? So the map I did already mention was from Incarnate, and then the base of it was, and then I built around it and built the cities on it, and the other locations. The story was heavily, well, the story not heavily. The story was inspired by a few different places. Probably the biggest one was Divinity 2: Original Sin. I really liked how they dealt with the gods in that one. Because in that one, you specifically get to meet them. They're not all they seem to be, that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed that concept. So that was an idea of where of how to interact with the gods came from. And the other one, another influence was Owl House. I really enjoyed the cutesy but the dark undertones that put together. And I think that came across pretty well with the campaign.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with your characters?
Issy's BRB, so they'll
Yes, yeah, I know,
answer
yeah.
last probably.
That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Well, the idea of a shield bearing orc was kind of something I was sitting on for like the longest time. I think it was like one of my first like D&D concepts. It's like I really, really want to use this character, but it was like totally like written different from how he was. Like he had an actual like dog with him that like had carried a little knife and kind of acted as his offense. But that whole concept was too convoluted. So it's like, let's just start from ground zero. Let's just have him have the shield and we'll work from there. And start to write a story where it's sort of like all the notes I had for Maddie initially were there, aside from the child thing. Andy, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Where it's just like he started off as like he was part of this old mercenary group. He was the last one left, and kind of just went off and did his own thing. Where it's just like, well, I have basically little bits of all my other brothers' weapons. Like the axe was not his, the bow was not his. All he had was the shield, and it's just like, this is all I'm good at. Hold this up and take damage. Didn't even do that right.
Yeah, so we found a homebrew class for you of the shield bearer, but unfortunately, I think, like you mentioned, I think until it got to later levels, which at this point you didn't know you were going to get to. It was a bit lacking in that sense. So
Yeah.
that's on me as well. But this time at least we'll have we'll be able to work together on being able to get things to work from the get-go.
Yeah. Like I said, if Eldritch Knight was in a much clearer thing where I could have spotted, like, oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It would have solved so many problems.
All right. Also, the next question as well, actually, is how did you guys come up with your characters' backstories, which I think kind of mixes in with this. So by Rose the Wolf as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but yeah. So how did you come up with your characters and I guess the backstories as well?
Your turn. Okay, one of you. I explained.
I guess I'll go next. For me, Thrask came about because initially I wanted a character, like, I've always been a fan of the types of stories where a character starts from like meek beginnings and either has some kind of destiny they've been picked for or has been thrust upon them and they have to adapt to it and become something greater than they thought they were going to be. And I thought I could pull that off with the kind of story we were setting up here. Andy had laid out like the major species that were going to be in this realm, and I was like, oh, I've never played a lizard before. I played a dragonborn before in games before, but never a lizard, so I figured we'd go with that. And then developing the story, I had Thrask being like the studious one, like the brainy one in a land that was majorly focused on like the strength and power of warriors. Of lizard folk back then. And when they were setting up for like the big contest, they wanted to send out a champion of their people and that they would have this staff that selects who the champion is going to be. And everyone thought it was going to be like the current leader, like the young lizard folk Arisa, or her big brutish helper, I think Zorn was his name, that had his throat torn out.
I think it was, yeah.
The staff didn't pick them, and they kept going through warriors, and then like none of those got picked. And since Thrask was the one studying about history and such, he was like, why don't I take a look at it and see if there's something wrong or we're not doing right? And then when he picks up the staff, boom, he's the one selected. So it started out like that, and I wanted to kind of like build it up as like a character that was coming out of his shell more and more, learning more about the world from his sheltered life in the desert, and branching out further. That's how Thrask kind of came about, and a lot of his personality was developed as time went on, and how I saw he could interact with the group and the various dynamics that were there. And he came out to be just a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Just a good boy.
Awesome.
Who has the hots for a novel character.
Opposite attract.
Is Babuga
lusty Argonian maid?
Yes, it was 100% an Argonian
That's
maid
absolutely
reference.
what it started out as.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that just became a character trait for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
After I
you
decided
kinda
to pocket
start-
a book from somebody's crypt.
I mean, I physically started it, but you really started it with the I pocket the book.
Look, it's like Chekhov's gun, but Babuga.
Right.
All right. SE or Amy?
Well, kind of like how I mentioned before, I didn't really put a lot of thought into Ica,
That's-
but honestly,
yeah.
that really worked out for me, and it worked out for Ica's character, like ironically, because he is a child, so there really isn't much to his story, right? And like I feel like Ica was very symbolic of me kind of growing with you guys, and learning, because there was a point where like the god trials where I was frozen. I was actually anxious because I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do. Like I remember like when Andy was doing it, I was like, I'm nervous because I don't know what he wants from me. And I have a tendency of not wanting to step on people's toes or just kind of following the lead of somebody else if I feel like my presence would be a disturbance, right? And so with Ica, Aiko was just following what the adults were telling him to do, you know? And so when Andy was just like, just do the thing, like take the lead and just try. And weirdly enough, that actually helped me a lot. Because I was like, oh, I can just suggest something, and if it doesn't work, they'll just say it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to just like think 1,000 times over, like, oh man, am I doing the right thing? Did I do the right spell? Are they gonna be happy with this roll that I did? Instead, it was all like, okay, I'm coming to learn more. And so oddly, not doing a lot for Aika early on helped me learn a bunch. And I think that developed his character very naturally, you know? Like he started growing and learning and making decisions for himself naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Hey, I'm glad.
Hey.
Very nice.
I feel like me and Andy always go for a walk to take the dog out. Like, and whenever we did before the campaign started, because like obviously I didn't know I was gonna have to be making a character for this campaign, so I was just like we were just walking around and coming up with a bunch of different ones. And originally, Azalea was going to be a damn barbarian. Obviously, I ended up with that later, but she was going to be like a 60-year-old human, oh no, it was a giant, wasn't it? Like one of
Yeah,
the giant
it was.
races.
What were they? I forgot what they. Goliath, I think.
Goliath?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. From a gladiators arena, and she'd just gotten out. You know, that's what she was originally going to be. And then I'm just like, okay, well, what are the races you got there? And then we just started like talking. I'm like, okay, well, an elf sounds like fun. And then he's just like, all right, so the elves do not have like a gender. I'm like, well, mine wants to be a mom, so she's gonna be a mom. And then we came up with because he was talking about one of his other like some of his other characters, and then I saw he would talk about Cedric. I'm just like, can he be my son? It's like close to where I live. Can I just have him? And Andy's just like, sure, why not? It's fine. It makes sense to some degree. I'm just like, cool. I get the cool boy son. I didn't think about anything else. That was it. That was the entirety of my concept for this character. Is just, yeah, she's a mom whose kids left home and now she wants to make friends, and that's it. And then, of course, like halfway through the campaign, I'm like, okay, well, I'm invested now. I have to make story and I have to plan things, and I've gotten into D&D. Let me like figure out how all my spells work, and I can ruin things like Andy's Leviathan fight. That was great. That was my favorite fight.
That was
God.
pretty awesome.
Me figuring out it's just like you can destroy water. Andy won't let me destroy the Leviathan with a cool spell. Rude.
No, I'm not letting you destroy, like, at that point, like, a level, like, what, like 10, 12 character, like, monster with a cantrip. A single cantrip.
That's just
Fair.
mean.
To be fair, I was godlike, so you know, just
At that point, you were a vessel.
I was still a high level.
You were a high level vessel.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right, from Azuri Arcabane, for the players, how did you decide your initial classes, and how did you decide your classes post god acquiring?
Ooh.
I still do love the moment of, like, at the end of the episodes, oh, by the way, congratulations, you're level 18, ends the stream.
Yeah. And then you didn't
Yeah.
even leave
Right.
any time for that to sit. You just, even all of us are just like, what? God.
Hold on. Good question.
For me, whenever I play a D&D game, at least for as long as I've been doing it for a few years now, I always try to pick a class that I have not played before, just to, like, you know, liven up the experience. So I've played, like, my very first class I ever played in D&D was Ranger.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I've played other classes like clerics and fighters and things like what's the what am I thinking of? The one starts with an A. Not archivist. It's artificer.
Yeah, Artificer, yeah.
Artificer, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I came up to this one, and I think I was developing it because I saw the group makeup, because I'd seen most everybody else had picked their classes, and there wasn't really a healer in the group. So I wanted to do something that could provide some support, but I didn't just want to be a cleric that did that before. So I found a subclass of Warlock called it was not Divine Soul Sorcerer, it was Celestial Warlock. And they had healing abilities, and that actually fit well with my story of, having the gods or Shisk being a patron to Thrask, giving him powers and helping him heal the others in this group. So that's kind of how I wound up with Warlock at the start. And then when the god powers started to come around, I decided to go with another charisma-based caster that let me expand my choices of like what I could do for spells all over the place, which was Sorcerer. And Sorlock is like a very like classic combination of classes there, and it let me I realized after I had made up like the high level stuff, like how much I had based Thrask's abilities sort of off of Caleb Widowgast from Critical Role in the Mighty Nine, like all these fire-based abilities and things like that. And even by the end, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to play into it. I'm actually going to pick up one of his custom spells from Critical Role, Widowgast's Web of Fire, and just add it to my list.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's how I came about with Thrask stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was funny when you mentioned it fit perfectly into the god thing. Because obviously at this point, because especially when you mentioned it to me as well, and obviously you had no idea what I was going with, I was just like, oh my god, you good boy, you good
like
boy.
I was
That's my boy.
I was trying to throw around different ideas for the Warlock stuff. I was like, what if Thrask got his abilities from like a genie or something that was fire-based, and you were like, no, that won't work with the story. I'm like, okay, I need a pivot here. What else can I do?
Oddly enough, I feel like Keston and Andy made my, like, as far as like where I went with the character, you guys kind of like brought me in the direction of the rogue, because I was like, I don't know what to do, and you guys were like, rogue. And I'm like, oh, that sounds funny, because like Ika's like super loud and in your face, but then like he can disappear. That's hilarious. So oddly enough, Andy and Keston helped with that. I wanted to try fighter for a while, because I realized in D&D, because I've played a couple other campaigns before, but like I realized I get bored when I'm not in someone's face, like as far as like the action sequences go. And I was like, I don't want to stand back. I don't want to be like ranged. I want to be up in their face, up close and personal. And so I tried fighter, and I actually really liked it. It's really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of utility close up.
Yeah, and it works better with my attention span and like the characters that I like building anyways. So
Awesome.
I was about to say, I think I explained Maddie's build already.
Yes, you kind of did, didn't you? Yeah.
Pass.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I remember when getting mine, so I think I waited until Keston had picked his, and then I went for the class that was most likely to be basically the missing piece, because Andy had to walk. I didn't know how to pick a class at all, so Andy's just like, all right, these ones make the most sense, and then I'm just like, all right, what druid am I? And he's like, okay, well, this one makes the most sense for this. I'm just like, cool, okay. And then eventually when Marty was no longer the tank, I'm like, shit, we don't have a tank. So I just made mine like half tank, half like whatever. I'm just like, yeah, this works. So I think I had to change my circle at one point.
That's all right. That's the point.
My entire goal. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say you can have an entire part. You could all be bards if you wanted to. Wouldn't work very well, but you could do it.
Yeah, my entire goal for this character was to be support from start to finish. So like, even pushing people's storylines, my character was trying to be support for it.
Yeah, because I was new to the whole thing as well. Amy was kind of like my ace in the hole. It's like, oh, you're not going in this direction. It's like, oh, why don't you go in this direction?
Azalea just chaotically went in a direction, and most people would just be like, okay, we better make sure Azalea doesn't like die or something.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. For Keston specifically, what happened to your mermaid friend, or can you provide more information about her?
Yes, that was a thread we never really got to follow throughout this
Hmm.
campaign, though I dropped hints here and there. So I can tell you that their name, at least. Their name was Daria. Uh, Daria was like one of the first friends that Thrask had growing up. So you may have heard at certain points during the campaign that there was contention between the lizard folk and the merfolk, because there was the way Andy had described the story, that there was they were at odds with each other because of jewels that were washing up on the lizard folk's shores, and they were in contention on who actually owned all that treasure. And the merfolk like launched attack on the lizard folk at one point. So Thrask and Daria were friends before all that ever happened, and she was the one that gave Thrask that little pearl of power that he had around his neck. But after that fight happened, Thrask never saw her again, and he kept wondering if she was still, all right through all of this. And we never got to really follow that thread. But I might try to work something into that with my explanation of like how things shake up, now that he's a god. But I mean, I could try to. I had an idea of what was going to happen here. If you want me to talk about it.
Yeah, if you want to. Sorry, just imagine the idea of you just go to the cosmos and go, there she is!
Yeah.
Found you!
There's my friend.
Yeah, I led a little bit on it. What I was thinking of doing was that Thrask, after all of this had happened, he saw the value of, seeing different viewpoints aside from what the lizard folk had always known. Like they revere their past and their lessons that they've learned, but it's important to take lessons from outside their worldview as well. So what Thrask wanted to do, he wanted to make like a branch of the Arcane Arcanium that was like the big magic school that was there in Hapori at the start, and build it in Kirikiri. So it'd be like a spot where like people further in the land, like lizard folk and merfolk, could go and learn about magic. And I would imagine that in that time that Daria would find her way back to that place, and Thrask and her would be able to meet up again after all this time.
Yo, that's cute. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Very cute.
Oh, that question was from Ivan, by the way. All right, so the next one
Thank you,
from
Ivan.
Onyx. Okay, so there's one for all of us and one for me. For you guys, what was your favorite part of the 2-year campaign? And for me specifically, did anything change drastically from what you originally planned? And if so, what was the biggest twist of that?
Oh, that's pretty much like how my question was.
Yeah, like so.
Whoopsie, Onyx.
That's all right. So we kind of already answered that a little bit. I guess was there any other big twist that kind of happened with because of how you guys played?
My dad died.
Yes,
Yep.
that was
Monty
a big,
killed
that
my
was a
dad.
big plot. I mean, the
Yeah,
idea of
guys, that was not part of the script.
I mean,
Monty just murdered him.
I mean, he was planned in a sense. Like if that, I did have a plan if that happened, but it was definitely not my first original thing. Yeah, so that probably Ica's father was probably the biggest huge twist. But it kind of ended up working out for everyone in the end, because it kind of ended up pushing character tension to the point where they had to grow. So it worked quite well.
Yeah.
And
Also,
then
I still stand by the defense. He plunged the knife into himself.
I mean, the
He
hilarious.
tripped, okay?
I mean, the hilarious thing is because obviously in his office, Ica went and you had either attacked or pushed him first, and if you had succeeded, he basically would have fallen out the window.
Oh yeah, Ica wanted to grab him out of the window, but he would have had some way to try to stop him from falling. He just wanted to isolate it. Like he wanted to get Marty out of the room, because he had said before that happened, let me handle him alone. And he never got that opportunity. He was that was the whole idea, but never got to actually dive in on it.
Sorry about that.
No,
I think
again,
it just happened.
that,
yeah.
that is the whole point. There is no story written out. It can happen anyway, and that's the point.
Yeah.
And it continued on, and everybody and the characters grew from it, and that was awesome. And it gave Marty one of his biggest turning points, and that's how he ended up and being as good as he was. Right. So for everyone, what was your favorite part of the 2-year campaign?
Oh boy. Lots to reflect back on here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think for me, if I take the finale out of it, because that's my baby. I think for me, I really, really enjoyed painting the scene at when you all ascended and met the gods.
Oh,
Yeah, that was really good.
I really enjoyed painting that scene for everybody and having everybody like putting a lot of emotion into it and kind of introducing you to these characters that you'd be spending time with. So that's probably mine. Yeah?
Yeah, so mine is the season 1 finale. And I think it's because for me, like, I'm really hard to get into stuff. Like, I'm basically like, it's like I'm half here until I get into it. And that was the moment that I was like, this is now my new obsession, and nothing will change that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
getting Amy's obsession was a huge medal for me.
Yeah, it was because I did not shut up. The next, I basically just didn't sleep that night. And then when Andy got up, the first thing I said was, okay, so I really want to do these things. And then it just kept going. And it's just like, oh my God, okay. But like, I don't know. Funnily enough, my favorite part of that end, obviously, because I did the animatic and stuff, but it was Thrask's reaction, because all of us just kind of ran off to a different direction. Like, I just wanted to see my son. Marty was I can't remember, were you like talking to Regler or something? I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you were talking to somebody important. I'm fairly sure it was Regler. And then like Ica was trying to stay with me because I shouldn't have been running off in the first place. And then Thrask was just doing his best to get Vita's attention so that everyone else would be okay. I'm just like, oh my God, the little hero.
Yeah, my whole point of doing that move was to at least like blind Vita for at least a little bit so we all could run away. Like, I didn't imagine he would just shatter that like little spell immediately. And I'm like, oh no.
God, that was such a good point in the campaign, because that was the moment we were like, like it was the first time we were like, oh my God, we could have lost Thrask. Like, it made us like contemplate for a little bit, like, oh my
consequence.
God. Yeah, and then like the sun as well. It's like, what would have we done? We could have really messed this up. It was like the first time where I felt like we really like had to hone in on the game and be like, okay, no, this is serious, because like if we fuck up, I mean, it's bad.
Yeah,
and can I just say, I had so much fun mixing that audio.
It all made us very cautious going forward too, because that was the wake up call. Like, oh my God, if Thrask died, that we're down.
Yeah, I held everybody's hand a little bit on this just because I was also inexperienced, so I was afraid of like killing people too much. Like, if it came to it and it happened, then it would happen. But that was like you said, that was probably one of the first episodes where it was like, well, what happens. Like, you're going against forces far beyond your recognition. So if you choose not to be smart about it, then there's nothing I can do about it.
But yeah, one of my favorite moments was just, playing off of that for Thrask to have his moment at Vita the second time around now with his god powers, and just, to face him down and to have grown so much since that near-death experience was a great cathartic moment for me.
Yes.
I loved the shock that everyone had when like Azalea was dead. Because I just sat there and I'm like, I planned this. I'm just sitting here like with a big grin on my face, and everyone's like, no, they're dead, holy shit.
You cheeky bastard.
I'm good at being a cheeky bastard.
But yeah,
Dude, I'm so
Vida.
good at like
Oh, oh.
I'm so good at like putting my head into like that character when we're playing it, because like the moment that you were like, okay, Azalea's dead, I think you can actually hear me crying, because like I was physically crying to
Mhm.
match Aika, and it was great. It was such a dark, fucked up thing, but I feel like we did a really good job like playing our characters then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Uh,
sorry. Just someone in chat just mentioned like Electric Boogaloo. If if there's ever a second phase of Babooga, it's Electric Baboogaloo.
Yes.
That's good.
Perfect.
Gosh, yeah, so many good moments. I really liked, even though we had like really, well, we had more than one experience of this, but the first time we actually delved through like a real dungeon when we had Cinder with us,
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
really
That was
enjoyed that
cool.
exploration bit through there.
Mm.
I
yeah.
licked the crystal.
You
Yeah.
did, yes.
I did.
I remember that. Yeah, this whole campaign was basically for me to dip my toes into a little bit of everything. So that was like the proper. I mean, it wasn't the first dungeon exploration. That was the crypt you guys went into, but it was definitely the first bigger one.
Right.
Mm.
I think mine was definitely the trials, like with the gods. It was the first time where I was like, I need to watch the VOD. Like I have to watch the VOD.
Yeah.
I need to know what everyone else's trials were, because like we as players couldn't hear what was going on, you know? And
Uh-huh.
when everyone was in their own trial, and I knew what mine was, and I'm like, but what the heck could the others be? And to me, that was my big turning point of like, oh my god, I'm invested in this shit.
God, and
That
then
makes me happy.
Keston couldn't actually make it, so Keston actually did his earlier.
Yeah, I get to have a
Yes.
separate thing where I did mine on my own, and I was like, I definitely have to watch everybody else's now,
Yeah, it was good.
especially because I was taking so many notes.
Oh my god, yeah. So for anybody who is unaware, who hasn't got through everything, unfortunately, I had an issue with my notes where they corrupted and I lost them. I lost everything. I managed to get a very, very, very old save file of them from like a Google Drive I barely had access to, but it was very far out of date. And Kirsten had been keeping notes. So I was like, "Oh, okay. Would you mind if I grab yours?" I was like, "What the fuck? They're more detailed than mine." Like how? Anyway.
Yeah, I was writing in game and out of game in my little notebooks.
Okay, so another question from Island. For the characters, do you think you'll... Oh, for you guys. Okay, this is interesting. Do you think you'll meet Cinder or any of the people from the start of the campaign again? And how was it to actually physically meet your gods and patrons?
I have a feeling Maddie would meet Cinder again. He really liked her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like Thrask, if he decides, to be, keep on the mortal plane, yeah, he would definitely see Cinder again, because she was so invested in, like ancient history and things like that. Like when they found that secret room with like the dragon mural, how they were both geeking out over it and things like that. I think that was the moment Thrask was like, okay, yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
I've already decided what I'm doing, but I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal any of that on stream.
Message me what you're about to do, because I don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
Sorry, take me a second, and my brain power is like half.
That's all right. There's a question for me as well from the same person. Oh, you can yeah, no, that you can reveal that's the whole point of the
Okay. Can I reveal the other half of that?
Oh yeah, there's another half of it. Well, tell me that again as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point of this was to essentially go over what you guys were planning to do. So you can absolutely do that.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, so Azalea won't probably get to see any of the people that she would like to have seen, because she is going to split in two, and she is going to ascend, and the other half of her will walk the earth, but it will take Aerolith's shape. So Aerolith still gets the worship and praise that she once did.
Ah, that's cool.
And yeah, and Azalea just does a lot of all of the background work and basically just does all the things she planned.
Okay,
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Thrask and Azalea can now be brother and sister for eternity now.
Oh, I got a really cute thing that I'll share later if we talk about like the full plans we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the plans will shape how the next one will go. So,
Yeah.
okay, I think that was everyone, wasn't it? There was also another part of it was, do you think there'll be any references in the next campaign? 100% yes, because it's in the same world. So it's just the next campaign will be expanding on the history of the world, expanding on the exploration of it, and trying to fill in gaps and explain and give more depth to everything. But I do have I'm not going to reveal it now, but I do have a concept that I haven't seen. I mean, obviously, I've not watched everything in the world, but I haven't seen this done in all of the media that I've absorbed over my years. I've not seen it done this way, so I'm very curious to see how people feel about it. It will make writing interesting, but I'm very excited to take the challenge on.
Ooh.
How interesting. There was a part where that question said, "How is it physically meeting your gods and patrons?"
Yeah, you kind of. I
yeah.
mean, you kind of covered that, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it'd be about the same as anybody. Like it was just a moment where you feel connected to the universe, and you just don't know. Like it's unlike anything you've experienced before. Like Thrask, like he had always followed Zershishk's teachings and things like that, and especially being a warlock patron. I feel like he would have had more talks with Zershishk, like more normally than maybe some of the others, or at least more regular, at least. But to be able to finally see her, in person, standing before him during that trial, I think was the moment that really, solidified everything for him, where it was almost like a child coming back to their mother, or like their overall mother of so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you changed Saren, right, Andy? Because like I think when I was writing Ica, I think Saren was supposed to be like a woman character, like
Yeah. So when I
an adult.
originally started to bit, it was Serena.
Right.
And it was a female presenting sort of because obviously they're gods, it doesn't actually matter, but it was actually, but it was more realistically the type, the personality didn't really change. I can't actually remember why I changed them, to be honest. I think it's because like I said, it was inspired by Our House quite heavily at that point. And I think, and Seren specifically was inspired quite a bit by the Collector in that. I don't know why I changed it. There was a reason, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I just thought it
mean-
was very interesting because it definitely like fit Ica so much more, and I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. Like to me, it was like really being introduced to a completely different character than I thought it was going to be, and I'm like, this is hype. I really like this.
I think it might have been because I was trying to keep everything as equal as possible, just in the name of fairness. So I think I tried to equal it out in like actually, funny enough, I've got exactly here the old one. I've got Serena, patron folk of the patron of the mermaid folk, lover of exploration and discovery, bestowed upon her race the ability to live on land. Yeah, but it's basically not really much different. Yeah, so I think it might have just been to keep things even with the male and female presenting. I think that might have been really the only reason. Yeah. All right. I guess so. Next question. Okay. Yumiko put another one in. Not specifically Hollow Bonds, but how would you guys recommend getting into D&D if you don't have friends who play or who are interested in?
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
answer.
And Divinity Original Sin, I would
Oh, God,
suggest.
That too.
It's really good. It's not exactly D&D. It's almost like a softer version of it to
Mm.
get into, and I love its combat, but it's got some really interesting takes on the races as well.
Yeah, just play that game and just be at the end of it, be like, you want to play D&D?
Another interesting way to do it if you feel up for it, and if you have like game shops around your area.
I was
that do
just
this
gonna
kind of
say
thing,
that. Yeah.
is D&D
it's true.
Adventure League. There are game shops that run like open games, or they'd be one shots or such, that people can just walk into and bring a character to play in, and that's a good chance to, you know, meet new people, get actual in-world experience with it, and, you know, see if it's the kind of game you want to play further on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another less simple option, but it's something that I basically I did. DM. Honestly, because the hardest part is to find somebody who has the time and the want to do the DM part. So if you just take that, then it's so much easier. Just say, hey, do you want to play? I have a campaign set up. Let's go.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, because you can also there's also so many things out there for campaigns which has there's books which have everything you would ever need, and it just gives you a chance to practice on the descriptives of like everything, rather than having to think about like, oh, what's going to be in this room, you know, how and all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty much how I would do that. I do want to eventually, at some point in the Discord, try to figure out a way to help with that. I just don't know exactly how I'm going to do that yet. So hopefully that'll help with that.
I'm hoping one day I can get enough confidence to DM at least once.
It's fun. It's fun.
I've got a good. I'm good at the story writing part, and like I can't do anything else. I can't do like.
I'm gonna be honest. The best way to do it is just to jump in.
And...
You don't need to. You don't need to. Okay, so I love Matt Mercer, but Critical Role has ruined that for a lot of people. Is everyone feels like they have to be at that level?
Yeah, that's very
And
true.
like, I'll toot our own horns. Like, we're most of us here are either professional actors or have had a lot of experience in writing and stuff like that. So even what we do is not the level that you need to be at. So you don't have to, every single character can just sound like you. They don't need to have, you know, they don't each need to be a League of Legends level character like voice. You know, they don't need all that. You can just make them sound all the same.
As long as you're getting your point across and what you're trying to say is the character, that's really what matters.
Yeah, realistically.
And even if you do DM, like there's a lot of books out there, adventure settings in D&D that you can buy, and it has like the full descriptions of like areas and things like that right there in the book that you can just read off of, and it's all laid out there for you, so you have a great source there that you can reference back to when you're doing these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a ton of good materials.
Oh, yeah.
For, like new DMs.
So funny enough, I think I've mentioned this before as well. I've actually not watched a single episode of Critical Role, not for any particular, not for any like bad reason or anything. It's just by the time I got into it from a different person before Critical Role even existed, and obviously with it being so big, I didn't want to have it influence any of my writing or characters or anything. So anything that's even slightly related is pure coincidence. So I haven't experienced like how he does his stuff and how Matt does his stuff because I want it to be how I do it. So yeah, like you don't need, like, I'll be honest, I'm fucking awful with accents. I am terrible with them. It is one thing I need to work on very hard, but like for voice work specifically, but like you don't need, they can all sound just like you. It is fine. It does not matter.
And if all else fails, that's what voice mod is for, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Flip that switch.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so tempted to use voice mod for my next guy.
Oh, put like
that'd be fun.
Yeah, that.
I gotta figure out how to do that though. But he's not supposed to sound like me, so and he's just like, yeah.
Okay, so Star was asking for Thrask, did you ever talk? Did Thrask talk to his parents after he became God?
Your parents are still alive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no one ever asked Thrask about his parents.
Shit,
You
that's
were
a good
born?
point.
Yeah.
The rest of us have parental problems, right?
Yeah,
Right.
all of mine are dead.
I think you did mention
I was
to
waiting
me-
for that moment in Thrask to just be like, I don't know what's going on with you all. My parents are great.
My parents loved
But
me.
have a
He
flashback
does-
and put your mustache on. That's
Yeah.
just Thrask. That's us.
He
there.
does still have a mother and father. His father's name is Jarnot, and his mother's name is Azdari. And
John, not these nuts.
God damn it.
and suddenly, I don't want to talk about my parents.
This is why I never bring them up.
I'm
But
sorry.
no, I would imagine that after. I always thought that it would be funny, like we go through all of this, like Thrask is so focused on the mission at hand that by the time he finally, all of it is done and that all the responsibilities are like off to the side for a bit, he finally realizes, oh my gosh, I've never talked to my parents in so long.
Oh
And
my
that even if
God.
he was a god, that he would get an earful from his mother or something like that.
Even worse, you did a speech in front of your entire people and never once said anything to your parents.
Like, you're in the crowd somewhere, and there's like,
Honey, do you think that voice over there, that kind of sounds like a Thrasky boy? Don't you think? I can't up there. You know, it'd be great if we heard from Thrask.
Oh my God, no. He goes home after all this time and he's just like, hi, so you've now adopted another 3 people. They're gonna start calling you mum and dad now because we're siblings.
please don't die.
Maddie just looms over both of them like, I'm hungry.
You just have Ica look between like Thrask and his parents and then just go, am I adopted?
All right.
When are you gonna
So
tell him that you're going on a date with a famous celebrity?
that booga chick. Ooh.
Ah, she could do better.
You come
that
back
would
and you've got
be-
the typical like what was it like the very stereotypical like Jewish fathers. You're a god. What's the point? You didn't do it.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's like, oh, so you're the vessel for our god. You making any money doing that?
When you gonna start fixing the roads around here, huh?
Oh.
You know, your cousin got a scholarship to the Arcane.
Your cousin got a scholarship into the Arcane Arcanium.
I just helped make the Arcane Arcanium.
But do you
Oh,
have
I
a
think you're better
scholarship
than
there?
him now.
God.
It's like, you did it for free, though.
So you're God now. Where's my grandbabies? Oh God.
If their Shisk were here, she would have words.
I preferred the old one.
I'm your son. I said what I said.
Ay, ay, ay.
Alright, well, a question from Drifty Boy. My question is, considering making the crew in the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 got me thinking, if they had the ability to travel to another universe, like any existing ones like Star Wars or anything like that, where would they go?
Oh.
Those are
Because of
Good
the
idea.
inspiration, I'd say Owl House.
Mm,
Ooh.
yeah.
I think Ica would be like, One Piece? Sure. This place is water? Great. Love it.
Mhm.
Water and superpowers.
Yeah.
Go to a universe where I didn't kill Ica's dad, so he'd love me again.
Yeah,
It's
Owl
okay,
House.
Marty. I'm used to disappointment.
Mhm.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Thrask is a veil breaker. He could probably rip open a portal somewhere to go somewhere new.
He's going to Fortnite.
He's going to Florida. He's decided to retire.
He's just going to find a nice, he's just going to go to, what, I don't know, what's a deserty place in America? Utah? Well, I don't know. Just find a
Arizona.
nice,
Arizona.
just find a nice rock to sleep on.
The next lizard you see that's vaguely the same color, it's actually Thrask on vacation.
Oh wow!
If any of you find a green lizard with like orange specks on it, we need images.
Befriend it. Yeah,
No, don't befriend, just in case it's poisonous.
You
Befriend
can
it from a
befriend from a
distance.
distance. Yeah.
It's
It's
my
alien did
friend.
that many times. Just throw things at it that it might like.
All right. All right. Question from Sora. I got a few actually. Okay, for everyone, what was your favorite moment from D&D, both each other and interacting with chat? I think we've covered that a few times.
Yeah.
For Pat specifically, is there any spell or idea you regret not using?
Yeah, boy, is there. I had so many spells I didn't touch.
Oh yeah.
But one particularly I really wanted to use was Synaptic Static. I don't think I ever got to use that ever. It is basically a big ball of psychic energy. So it's just like, I just wanted to throw that out there. A big ball, everyone's brain now hurts.
You know what? Just for you, get into Roll20 and roll me synaptic synapse.
Yay. Cast.
Does it help that my brain is already hurty?
Oh yeah, I gotta log into Roll. Oops.
Real life
while
effects.
while you do that, for Essie, what was the most fun thing about playing Ica?
Oh my god, he's a gremlin. Like, he's a child, so like, me as an adult player, I'm thinking to myself, please stop me. But as Ica, like, Ica gets to make, like, really, like, silly jokes, you know? Like, he gets to be, like, the weird one, and it's okay because he's a child, right? Like, he
Yeah.
gets to make mistakes. He gets to be the one being all like, why do you smell weird? You know, like, he gets that pass. And I think just him being a little bit of a gremlin is my favorite part. Like,
Oh,
because he really, I feel like, added comedy where it wouldn't have been possible with any other type of character.
oh, sorry, you rolled it for me. Intelligence DC 19, very nice.
Yes.
28 for psychic damage. Yeah, I can definitely see why you'd want to use that.
I know.
Oh well. That's awesome. All right, for Kirsten, what was the most fun with Thrask?
Throwing out Eldritch Blast for days.
Yeah, and you eventually get to do like what, fucking 10 of them.
It's all
Well,
grand.
yeah, like I could during a turn I could have made as much as 8 Eldritch Blasts at a time if I wanted to, because there's like a weird thing with warlocks and sorcerers where you throw out like at high levels you throw out 4 Eldritch Blasts for an attack, then you can use the sorcery points to quicken a spell and just throw out Eldritch Blast again for 8 separate shots.
Yeah. Why would you need any other spell when you could just do this?
It is the ultimate cantrip.
Awesome. It is the ultimate cantrip. All right, for Amy, who has Azalea given the most berries to for making to making them therefore the best friend?
Oh.
Probably Thrask, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He earned that title.
Yeah, Thrask was like her first and best friend. So like that's why like every time there was like a wholesome moment between them, it's because you had 2 introverts who did not have friends become friends.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
it
cute
was
and
blessed.
wholesome. Yeah.
And of course, because it's Sora, what are your thoughts on the Gundam designs of the characters they made? Just asking for the design, not on the lore, because none of us know it anywhere near as much.
There's a Gundam, Maddie?
Yeah, they put them together in the Discord.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
fan art
discuss
page.
this one on my
Yes,
stream
you
the
did.
other day, so I'll leave mine.
Yeah, fine, mine. Oh, major props that you made Maddie Ozaku. Thank you. Love it. Love to see it.
Yeah. I do like Thrask with like the big like spear on the side, almost like a tail sticking out from there, and
That's
the
smart.
skull and crossbones in the middle of him. I think that's pretty good.
I imagine, Essie, you've probably gone over this on your stream, I imagine.
Dude, Sora makes so many of these.
Yeah.
And it always surprises me, like, how different they are each time I see them, because I'm all like, listen, dude, I know nothing about... Is this Gundam, you said? Like, I don't know anything about it. To me, I'm like, it's little robot pieces, just like a Lego, right? So it surprises me every time that I see it, because I'm like, this is completely different than the last one you did. Like, how the fuck did you do this? Like, what is this? Like, and I can tell like where the inspiration comes from with like the colors and like how Sora implements those colors and those themes onto each one. Like, you can really tell that Sora puts a lot of like love into it, and a lot
Yeah.
of thought. And I
Yeah,
really
they do.
Kudos to
appreciate
you.
it tons. Yeah.
Kudos
Say,
to you
Bondi,
for having the
take notes.
passion.
Mhm.
All right, a question from TLK. What was everyone's favorite moment in this campaign in the beginning? Oh, from the beginning.
Beginning.
Ooh.
Tree Blood will probably be one of my favorite bits we have ever done as a team.
Uh-huh.
Tree blood?
Wasn't Tree Blood in season 2?
I'm pretty sure that was
I think
season
it was
one.
Hang on,
early
sorry, what?
on.
I'm confused. What are we talking about?
Syrup.
Syrup, yeah, maple syrup or whatever it was on
Yeah,
pancakes.
That was on
Oh.
session 8 or 9, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that because I'm pretty sure
March
in
of
session.
last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in 2 you didn't really get a chance to do that sort of stuff.
No, then yeah.
Who has time
that
to
was
talk
quite
about
funny.
Tree Blood when the world's dying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Uh.
you go from tree blood being maple syrup to oh god, the trees are actually bleeding.
I don't know, dude. The cactus juice cracked me up way too much. Like, it did. I loved it.
Cactus juice was
Oh
good,
yeah, you
man.
all like Marty and them got drunk off of it.
Yeah.
And like stuff hanging everywhere.
Yeah, that was the best.
In the beginning, like just finding where we took like the idea of Thrask finding the first Babooga book in that crypt and then just pocketing it, and then we just built off of that for the rest of this campaign. I just thought that was just such
The
a
way
funny thing.
it's true, the way you were so subtle, like, oh yes, very, very interesting, very lovely. I pocket the book, just like so under your breath.
Oh my god.
So interesting, so much to learn here. I pocket the book. Very nice.
I'm actually certain, and I'm gonna get it right now. I'm almost certain I made a TikTok with that specific.
You did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find it so we can get your
And-
literal
and the
exact way
like,
you
Pat
said it.
reacted to it, and once he figured out what that was, like, oh my god, Andy.
Yeah, it was so
This-
good.
I was just like, no.
Oh, where is it? There's so many. Oh no, that's not that one.
How dare we all be so funny?
I know, you're all way too funny. Need to stop that shit.
You need to stop being so clippable.
Oh god, okay, that one of mine was probably the slip up I made when I said about when you were talking to the librarian and you were like you're supposed to like catch her down and said you shake her down. Where's the book?
Where's the
Give me
book?
Where is it?
Yeah,
Where's the book?
Oh, actually, I think one of my favorite bits from the earlier episodes was when I got hold of oh, damn it, what's it called? The same skill I'd seen Thrask do, and then the look on his face when he's just like when I used it, it was just like a oh, you used the thing.
Yeah, primal
Yeah.
savagery.
That
That's
was
it.
it.
Oh, that was another one when
And a book.
when I first described Vasix, and that was the first Marty blush.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
So
The
I based,
first
I think I
panning.
mentioned it a couple of times, but for anyone who's not aware, I based him off of Lucifer, from Lucifer.
The series.
The
was
series.
yeah.
Mm.
I could tell.
That man is
I love
far
that
too
man.
attractive for his own good.
I love that man a lot. Lordy.
Oh, I'm struggling to find this scene. I think I might. Oh no, never mind. Got it. Oh.
Very lusty lizard folk named Babooga.
Babu. Oh, I forgot, Essie, you did that. Babooga.
God.
No.
Andy?
Wait, what'd I do?
So I was playing the first TikTok of when we found the book. I was, you find a book of a lusty individual named Babooga, and your first response was Babooga.
Are you about to do a lusty Argonian maid reference in this stream?
Yes.
There we go.
Very Interesting history. So much to learn here. I pocket the book. Very.
I pocket the book. So
The
good.
way he zooms in on you too.
Right.
Yeah.
I pocket the book. So good. I'll put that in chat for anybody.
Yeah, that one's good.
That was a good one, yeah.
That set the humor ahead for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I actually recently just did one of when you, Ico, when you went from a nat 1 to a nat 20 in the same sentence.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
All
Talking with the
right.
guards outside the castle in Brizo.
It's like we just started the high sequence and he rolled an
Yeah, you freaked out. I was like, oh, what?
I've already fucked it up.
Yeah, and then you come up with a story, and then at the end, like a really heartwarming story, and at the end of it, roll for deception.
and it, like rolled a 20 and it's like we got a tour of the fucking place.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You got the all access pass.
Yeah, I'm over here just like, oh, I'm so proud of me.
Oh,
a
it's
little
so
pass.
good.
Good job, me. Thanks, me.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Valorant. If anybody doesn't know Valorant, they are a blacksmith and a baker. A very interesting mix. And with that in mind, what are your characters' favorite foods and baked goods? What are your IRL favorite foods and baked goods? And then a very third unusual question, which I'll do after you've done.
Okay.
Okay. Right out the gate for Maddie's probably favorite baked good is probably going to be a really good croissant.
Croissant?
And for me personally, sesame bagel because I have a problem.
You a slut for a bagel.
I am a slut for a bagel. I live in New York, dude.
I mean, yeah,
You either
true.
love bagels or you're a fucking liar.
True.
Okay, I can't live there then.
Sorry.
What about rest of you?
I think Ica's would be pancakes because there's blood on it.
Yeah. Tree blood.
Yeah, tree blood on that. Me, baked good. I love everything baked good. It's like if I am sad, that's how you cure it. You know, it's like muffins, cookies, like all that stuff. Cinnamon rolls.
Oh my god.
I need it. But I would say muffins. I think they're my biggest weakness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a
Fair enough.
absolute whore for a good glazed cinnamon swirl.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm right there with you, really.
Mm.
I love them, but the problem is that's an all-day commitment, dude. Like you eat
I don't
that,
care. I'll
Like,
set
you
the
eat
your
time
one
on
of
it.
body wants to go to sleep after.
Yeah, no, it's like you get something like that from Cinnabon, like your rest of your evening's done. Like, yeah, for Thrask, he's primarily a carnivore, so I mean he'll eat just about any kind of like raw or cooked meat. You remember like right before the heist in Brizo, he even like scraped up a crab off the side of the street and just ate that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
Which is
temporary
like
hit
his people, which is very strange of you.
It's like eating a puppy.
Oh no!
Well, he said he wasn't proud of it when he did it. But I said I'm sorry, so it's all right.
Has anyone seen Sprinkles the crab?
Has anyone seen the
First
mayor?
off, don't name your crab Sprinkles.
That's true.
Yeah, it's
True.
because he sprinkled him all over his other meal.
Oh god.
Oh,
And what
Oh,
about
man.
IRL, correct, Keston?
IRL, baked goods, like again, like I love a big cinnamon roll as well, but I also like one of my favorite desserts, and I don't see it around often, but I just love the sweetness that goes along with it, along with the baking aspect, is a pineapple upside down cake.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Like, you just
Oh,
flip
those-
like
yeah.
one of those sweet cakes over, then you layer the top with sliced pineapple and like a nice tart cherry in the middle of that piece. And something about that flavor just hits so well with me. I can't describe it.
When done well, those are good.
Mm-hmm.
Amy?
Alright, Azalea's favorite baked good is the only baked good she's ever eaten, which is pancakes, and it's because her friends gave her pancakes.
Respect.
Yeah, respect for pancakes covered in tree blood.
Yeah.
And then for me, it'd be marshmallow shortcake.
Oh.
Ayo. Good
It's
pick.
good shit.
That's good
nice.
stuff.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right.
Used to make it.
And the final weird third question, Ica, how different would the plot be if Ica was given the BFG 9000?
We'd only have 3 episodes. Let's be real.
What's a BFG
Big
9000?
fucking gun.
Yeah, big fucking gun from Doom.
Oh.
I'll put a thing in the Discord of like a GIF of it.
That's a big one.
There you go.
What is that?
A big gun.
Big gun. I just don't feel. Ika's not a gun person. I feel like he would look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, bye," and then just not use it at all.
Oh, no, you know what I imagine Ica doing with it? Because of how big it is, Ica's just like, I bet you I can shoot myself out of this thing.
Oh yeah, somehow convert it into some form of teleportation or just like a cannon. Yeah.
Maddie, hold this.
Mhm.
Okay, right. So another one from Sora. If you could describe your characters with a single meme, which would it be?
You know that meme?
There's so fucking many.
I
Yeah.
know.
True.
Do you know that one where it's like a child running around and they're
The
like,
knife?
"I got a knife." Yeah, that would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty on brand actually.
That's Ica.
If you
Yeah.
can't think of one, by the way, it's fine because like there are so many.
Can I say one that I imagine Thrask being?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that one with all of us in like little harnesses, and he's like walking all 3 of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, I was wondering if Thrask would either be either that one lizard picture where it just has him going
Yeah.
either that or Velociraptor.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, that takes me back.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
is
oh my
good.
god. Okay, I don't normally ask this because I don't like to do it, but artists in the chat, please, for the love of God, I need a Velociraptor Thrask, please.
You know what to do.
Oh my god, I can't even.
I feel like for Maddie, it would just be that old guy the internet historian uses as his face. Just that guy.
Hide the pain, Harold.
Yes. That's Maddie. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. It's like, oh fuck, I see it.
Oh, I love that.
I genuinely am not entirely sure. The closest thing I can think of, but except for the fact that Azalea's got her eyes like covered, is like the Doge meme. Anytime someone walks by and she needs to make
Yeah.
friends.
Yes. Awesome. All right, perfect. Okay, one from Ice Devil. It says a question for everyone, but I think it's more. I think it's more directed to me. But anyway, are there any modules you like to run or play in the future, like Curse of Strahd or Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or they're the only modules I know? So for me personally, I am too in love with homebrew. I don't really care for stuff that's already been done. I like to have the freedom to meld and create my own stuff. So it's why I don't tend to do that. I don't mind doing it for small one-shot stuff, but even then, I still like to. So for me personally, unless it's like a charity stream or like something I have to do very quickly, then probably not for me personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to try my hand at like a one shot, or at least eventually get into DMing at some point. One of the first like adventure books, at least D&D specific, that I got that I would like to try and run is Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh yeah.
It looked like it had a lot of cool stuff, you know, in that book that I maybe want to try. But I've actually been more interested in like some other like game systems outside of D&D that I'd like to run. Like there's an Avatar, like Last Airbender RPG that I would love to try and run at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I need that in my life.
Mm-hmm. And there's also a version of D&D that actually was inspired by a version of it from Borderlands, the game, called Bunkers and Badasses.
Oh.
That looked like it'd be stupid fun to try. So
actually, bouncing off of that, there is one thing actually I haven't mentioned it yet, but there's something I've been wanting to do, is I've been wanting to try to move my stuff to D&D a lot more. But I wanted there's friends I've got who play other things solely, so like Dead by Daylight, for example, which I very much enjoy as well. So I was actually trying to think of a one shot that would implement DBD gameplay into D&D. So I've been trying to work on something like that behind the scenes at the moment. So that's probably as close as I'd get with that sort of thing.
cool.
All right. So another question from TLK. How is Cinder after all this? Specifically, so she was actually she's actually literally just inspired from Amy's character Zine. She's basically just a carbon, basically just a palette swapped copy, gender swap copy. Just not as deep, because she was only included in a couple of episodes. But realistically, she's one of the few characters who would be able to live long enough to see everyone again. So she, and considering the way she had been left, she was in a much better position. Depending on, I don't know how that will continue in the future, but realistically, the position that she's in now is a lot better than where she was, and she no longer has to deal with the thumb of Vassix either. So yeah, she's in a much better position than she was before.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
See, oh, another question from Island, but it's about the character's food. We've already done that. Question for me from Sora: would you expand your media interest to others to either make a new D&D campaign or gain inspiration from the current one? So the next campaign will be still in this same world. After that, I don't know whether I would continue this one. Probably not. I'd probably look at moving over to a new world. And it would entirely depend on what I'm watching at that point and what I'm inspired by the most at that point. So right now, that's heavily involved with Arcane. That's been incredible for characters and the stuff like that. And so, funnily enough, actually, that's probably something I could talk about afterwards. Actually, when we run out of questions, is some of the stuff you guys didn't actually get to see that I had set up for the world.
Oh.
Right, so the next one, another one from TLK. Is it okay for artists to make AU of this campaign? And also, I was wondering if I can make some OCs with the character. Oh god, yeah, please. Holy shit. Oh my god,
Please.
yes, please.
Please.
I actually want to. When I get some spare time, I actually wanted to create some stuff on D&D Beyond of some character sheets of the monsters I've used, and some of the character sheets we've already put out on the Discord. But yeah, oh my god, please, absolutely do that. Alright, no worries, Essie. Yeah, we'll be probably coming up soon. One from Seren. Would you ever do a D&D campaign with the My Street crew, and would you ever start the Hollow Bonds Twitch channel or even YouTube account? I mean, I'm not against it. It's just I'm mostly I'm more interested in doing it with people I spend a lot of time with rather than just work with every now and again. They're really nice people. They're really nice. They're really good people. But I don't spend like a lot of time with them. So and plus they're very, very, very busy.
I was about to say, yeah, it'd be hard to wrangle up all of them.
Yeah, it'd be very hard, and not all of them are interested in D&D either. So it's just kind of how it is.
There are quite a few of them though. Like you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm pretty sure if I asked like Chris, Michael, and all that, so I'm pretty sure I could wrangle them up for something. But it would be something I'd have to plan to do. But yeah, no, look, I'm definitely not against it. It's definitely like something I could do. Maybe once I've got more of a foothold in everything I'm doing. Would you start Holobon's Twitch and YouTube? No. I'm gonna keep it under this brand pretty much. Unless it got like, I mean, I don't know why, but unless it got so big I had to separate it. but I don't see that. But for the foreseeable future, no, it's just going to be under my brand. Next one. One from Izzy. If you could spend a day in your character's body with the same powers and stuff, would you?
What would I do?
What would I do? Ooh.
Probably swing that ball and chain around because I'm a big guy, but I don't know if I could ever pull that stunt in real life.
I would eat berries. I want to know what they taste like.
I mean, you'd get to talk to animals. You get to see what all they are actually thinking and such.
I mean, realistically, it'd be the dumbest things of sleeping upside down at least once without falling out of a tree and being able to climb a tree. That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, with Thrask, I would love to, be able to fly around and see what that sensation's like.
I know, right?
Summon a dragon to fly alongside me and things like that. Like that, that would be pretty wild to do.
Oh wait, we'd have to coordinate so we could meet each other at the same time.
All right, and question for me and Essie, apparently. What was originally planned to happen if Aika's dad didn't die?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, what was the plan?
So
I know my answer would have
go ahead.
been like, what I would have wanted to happen is for Aika to actually hash things out with his dad and like really dive into his lore, because that was something that I did do. Like, I did add some lore to his dad. Like, it kind of explained a little of why he made some decisions in his relationship with his mom, and like there was some stuff that Aika wanted to hash out. So I think it would have been a lot of like emotional stuff, and I think he probably would have wanted to duel him.
yeah, so the concept, from what I remember, essentially is power corrupts absolute power corrupts absolute, pretty much. So basically, for working his way to the top, no matter who, and basically chucking out whatever was not needed for that. If I'm right.
Yeah, but he also, so the thought was that like he actually was in love with Aika's mother, and there was an actual like relationship and a bond there, and there was something that shifted, and Aika wanted to know like what made that change, and or like why was power more important, and just things like that, like why didn't you help us? Like, you got all this power, but yet we're living on the streets. You got all this power, but mom was sick and you did nothing. Like, there was a lot of like hashing out emotions towards someone who isn't gonna reciprocate them in the same way you want. Like, because the answer really is, well, I just wanted it, or like the power just took over too much. But yeah, it was supposed to be like a coming of age moment where Aika was becoming like a young man, and like trying to make decisions for himself. And it's kind of like what you do when you grow up and you finally have your first like real conversation with your parents and you realize that they're flawed for like the first time. It's kind of like that. It was like coming to terms with it. And so yeah, if it was up to me, it probably would have been face-to-face, one-on-one situation. And it may be a battle.
Yeah, so these sort of characters I left heavily in your guys' realm, so I just kind of played as a vessel for it and played the world around what you wanted for it. So with the king, essentially, of there, the whole point of him was the fact that he had come from a lineage that had done such impressive feats that him being in a world where there's not really the ability to do that anymore, it's hard. It's hard to be compared to something of such an incredible like lineage that it's almost impossible to live up to. So living with that wound in your mind is difficult. So to see someone like Aika come along, who gets that even more on an even higher level, but is able to push through, is the inspiration they would have needed. So having Caspian kind of be the catalyst between those two was kind of the idea that I was working with.
Well,
Well,
Well, it just turned out.
best laid plans, as they say.
Oh, don't worry about it.
No.
Like it worked.
No, no,
it,
no.
it's different, not bad. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like if I was doing a campaign, if the whole point of those was for just to go for them and then just for the three of you to fuck off while one person did their story, that's not how D&D works. So the whole point is to throw you all into your own boiling pot and see what happens.
Yeah. And
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa, look at this.
How many was
Ah.
that?
Job 25 gifted. What the fuck?
Holy shit.
Oh my
you
God.
madman.
Job, thank you very much. Donation link doesn't work. Oh, does it? Shouldn't it? Does
Oh no.
it? Oh. Okay, well, I'll fix that. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow, thank
Way
you.
to go, Jubbo.
Oh.
All right, okay,
yeah.
we got to get through the last
Yeah.
ones of these. So what would your characters be doing if they never decided to go on the adventure?
Well, I think Maddie would still be on the road.
Yeah, Maddie used to be on the road. Ika.
Oh God, guys, you guys didn't see session 0. Ica was taking his key and shoving it in every single lock that he saw.
Oh, that's
Uh,
true. Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You just
Like-
keep going.
Yeah, episode 0 was like, okay, take the key, shove it in every lock that I can find. We're gonna figure this out. I think Ica would have somehow stumbled across the correct door eventually. And what a surprise.
That would have been.
Would have been really funny.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing
Either
is
that
as
or
well,
die
if-
trying, you know?
If the gods hadn't failed in what they were doing, you would have just come across a room with nothing.
that's-
Yeah, and then he would have been
Yeah.
like, I still don't get it.
I don't
but
get it,
okay.
Mom.
I've never understood this.
Maybe
Alright.
it was about the journey and not the destiny. I don't know.
All right, Thrask, what you be doing?
If he never went on the adventure, wow. So I guess that would also mean like not even figuring out if Zershisk was gonna pick him. So if that didn't happen, he probably would have, tried to find more purpose in Kiri, learning what he could, because I had it where his father was like a historian for the city and his mother was a former priestess of the Temple of Zershisk. So he probably would have looked more into like what Zershisk was about, like what could he find ways to be useful in his city apart from, not being like a hardened warrior like most of the lizard folk were in that area.
All right, Cool.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
Azalea.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like Azalea's is just kind of depressing. She just wouldn't have left the forest and wouldn't have made friends.
Oh no.
She'd have just stayed exactly the same way, and every now and then the only person she'd really meet is her son, and that's it.
Rip.
Sad.
No, because the only reason she left the forest is because, like, she went with a party.
Yeah. Ah, rip.
Yeah.
So the final thing that I was going to mention, I set up a lot of factions for you guys to interact with, just in case you wanted to, depending on wherever you went. One of them was the Underdire thing, because the leader of that, which you did eventually get to meet, was loosely based off of Silco from Arcane.
Oh.
Yeah. So the whole point of them was essentially mercs and slum veterans who control the underground, poverty-stricken. They would be in various different areas. So they actually have sections in every city, nearly. Just a few, like, so they wouldn't have had some in like Kitty, for example, because obviously the underground was used. But the idea is that the organization would have rose to power through the neglect and exploits of their citizens, people who are able to fit into what the society deems acceptable. They would have essentially ended up under the submission of them. The motto of them would have been like real power comes from the people, not comes from those who will do anything to achieve it. I had like some quest lines that you guys could have done with them, and stuff like that. There was also the Lone Wolves, which were a group of injured individuals. You did actually get to meet one person from there, which was the one-armed orc lady.
Oh.
Yeah, she was involved. So essentially, the Lone Wolves are a group of injured individuals who can no longer provide for their groups, clans, or families, and have been ostracized from their position due to force or of their own mental undoing. Their goal is to achieve peace through solitude from the ones who harmed them, and to spread the newfound peace to anyone who wishes to share in it. They first evolved from a female orc who lost her arm after trying to defend a mermaid who had engaged in unrespected trade with another orc. The races of the orcs never engage in trade with anyone who has not proven to deserve respect. With this infraction, during the defense of the mermaid as she escaped, the female orc's arm was cut off as she was unable to provide her service as a guard and was banished. So the idea of that one, like I said, is peace in a journey of 1,000. Peace is a journey of 1,000 miles and must be taken one step at a time. So kind of like a group, basically to allow anybody who didn't fit into your previous god's plans, essentially.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. You also got to meet the Broken Spears a little bit with Ahai.
That
Oh,
guy.
that's who. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys were people who the idea is the power of the gods is not from mortal hands, and essentially they would roam the area, destroying or taking away anything to do with the gods that was not. So they were the hardcore believers in the gods.
Well, he was definitely broken by the end of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There
Guess you could
was
say he got ahead of himself.
there was the Feral Raw, which was a group of professional hunters who used to be known as the Leaves of the Root, which was led by Cedric. But he was taken out from there when they decided to have somebody else be pushed through because they wanted to hunt for game, not for...
Oh, that's right.
Yes, they wanted to hunt for
Remember
game, not
this.
for actual naturalistic needs to keep things in
Oh,
check.
yeah. I'm fucking them over when I assume.
Yeah. So the idea was that if you chose to, you could have helped Cedric retake that over. What else?
Well,
is
you guys
there?
didn't help my son. We're not really friends.
We were busy.
To be
Yeah, a
fair,
little
I'm
bit.
his mother and I didn't help either.
But you
Yeah.
can blame us. It's fine.
Yeah, there's the Starlights, which you met towards the end. The guild of basically the most creative people, artists, performers, bards, that sort of thing. The gods have their stars, but we have ours, would have been their motto. And the idea with them is that you that I set them up as a way for you to earn money if you wanted to. Yeah, there was the Golden Ledger as well, which is a group of basically the trade and merchant group. You didn't really get to speak to them. The Arcane Arcanium, I'm a little bit sad that that one didn't get used, but it's completely fair. It was actually going to be one of the starting locations for one of the previous people who was in here before Keston and Amy joined. But the idea of them is essentially they are in charge of everything to do with magic. Within the city limits, magic is restricted to those who have gone through the Arcane Arcanium. Any unlawful use of it will be handled by them and not local law enforcement. The faction also provides schooling for those and blah, blah, blah. The faction was created way back when it was realized the power of the gods and the realms was too dangerous to be left uncontrolled. It was during this time that an elder witch, Eurida, brought together the most powerful magic users she could find and hunted down those who were magically gifted but were using it for malicious means. So she was one of my more powerful like female characters that I was going to introduce, but she never got really a chance to kind of be used.
Dang it.
That's okay. We had plenty of others, so but I like my powerful ladies. But yeah, so those are the main factions that were kind of used, but didn't really get. Oh, there was one thing I did want to at some point, but to be honest, it was kind of silly of me to kind of think that you'd get the chance to do it. But there was fantasy sport ideas.
That would have been fun. I mean, we could add all these things to the new campaign
Oh,
because this one's supposed to be
100%.
much bigger.
100%, yeah. There was wand fencing, where the idea was to essentially paralyze your opponent. Tangle root sprint, like a normal sprinting race, but the floor is covered with basically weird vines and an adhesive. Competitive potion drinking. Test your alchemy.
Hell yeah!
Test your alchemy skills by drinking potions in a minute without dying due to risk reactions.
Whoa.
Dungeon
Fuck
run.
yeah.
Players run through a mock dungeon, competed with traps, monsters, loot, and other such things. Person gets to the end the fastest, gets to keep everything they found.
I would love this. You
yeah,
should add it.
I'll do it in the next one. And concentration checks. Mages try to cast a complex spell while a tiefling gnome heckles them in various ways. Or trifling gnome, sorry. Oh, this is before it settled the
Either
races.
way, tiny gnome with horns. Hilarious.
Yeah, basically, like, you try to do your hardest concentration spell and you just be getting, like, your feet tickled or something.
Oh god.
Anyway, I think that is where we will end this situation. So, as per usual, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Pat, Essie, Keston, and Amy, for allowing me to create this world. And chat for you guys to having been here this whole time and enjoy it. The next campaign I don't know when it will start, but I'm writing it right now. And I will let you know when we are getting back into it. We will have a new custom overlay that Amy will be making, which will be built from the ground up. So it'll have even have even more involved in it, and I can't wait to use it. Also, thank you, Amy, for the custom the coding and everything, and the art would not have been anywhere near as visually pretty without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
absolutely.
awesome. I'm so proud every time I get to say, like, we have a custom coded overlay. It's so good.
I'm just sorry it's coded like shit, man.
It works. That's all that matters.
God.
Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I should be streaming tomorrow, I think. But I'll see you whenever I do, and I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord and on streams when the next campaign starts. But thank you so much for coming along, guys, and we will see you next time.